This is your Weather Extreme video for Saturday, June the 10th. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Thanks so much for tuning in. Satellite image over the southeastern U.S. this morning shows that we have mostly clear skies across much of the southeastern U.S. Yeah, there's a few streaks of what appear to be mostly mid-level clouds over parts of northern Louisiana and central Mississippi, but those will not obscure the sun very much. High pressure over the Carolinas is making its influence felt all the way over into the Texas, West Texas area, and for much of the southeastern quadrant of the United States, as well as up into the central part of the United States, where there's some pretty good heat going on. The upper atmosphere, we have a bit of a trough over the New England and mid-Atlantic states that is migrating off into the Atlantic, and that will be replaced with a fairly good upper ridge. In the meantime, though, we also have a little bit of a closed low and a weakness over southeast Texas, and that's going to play a role in our weather for the next week or so. Temperatures this morning generally in the 60s across the area, a little cooler there in the northeast where Fort Payne's reporting 57, and I'm sure that must feel very nice. Nakalula Falls also reported, I think, a temperature of 58. Watch warning map is fairly clear. We do have a few of the gray areas, which are dense fog advisories over Tennessee and North Georgia. We also have a large area in that red that you see out there in the southern Rockies. That is primarily high fire danger. The green areas are some flash flood advisories, and then a little bit of the orange in to the western Great Lakes there. That area is some heat advisories. QPF-wise, we're looking at probably on the order of 3/4 to 1 inch of rain over the next 5 days. This ends first thing on Thursday morning. Not everybody's going to get wet every day, but it does show the amount of rain we can expect to see from those scattered showers. Storm Prediction Center has only some marginal risk areas over the western Great Lakes, stretching back into South Dakota. On day 2, there's a slight risk over parts of Wisconsin and Minnesota in the western Great Lakes area. And then on day 3, we have a slight risk that moves back into the western Dakotas, as well as parts of Wyoming and Montana. And the tropical Atlantic is quiet. We do have some clouds out there, but nothing that is begging us to watch it. And we also have in the eastern Pacific a rather quiet pattern, but we do have a small area of disturbed weather just offshore from extreme southern Mexico. All right, 06 GFS model run. And there's our surface pattern for today, and of course the high moving off the Carolina coast, and that is beginning to bring moisture back up, especially for today, into Texas and Oklahoma. The upper air pattern for Sunday features that little closed low that you see over the southeast Texas coast, centered primarily over the Houston, Galveston, and or Lake Charles area, and Beaumont, Port Arthur area, and that will help to enhance showers over the Gulf of Mexico. I think for Sunday we stay dry, although moisture levels are beginning to come up. I think we stay dry, but showers possibility along the Gulf Coast. Monday we see that the weakness is no longer just identifiable with a closed contour, but the weakness is definitely there, and it shows up in the surface pattern with a good deal of showers over the lower Mississippi River Valley and parts of the southeastern U.S. That along with the heating of the afternoon is going to create showers. The moisture levels don't fall at all on Tuesday. There's no change of air mass going on here. Now, we do note this very strong upper closed low over the northern Rockies, but the ridge over the southeastern U.S. and bulging up into the eastern Great Lakes, that's pretty strong, and it's going to keep that thing at bay. So the result is, with that weakness aloft, afternoon heating, good moisture, we're going to end up with showers. The upper trough over the northwestern U.S. migrates closer to the western Great Lakes area along the Canadian-U.S. border, but we keep that weakness over the northeastern Gulf of Mexico, so the result is that we just are going to see a good deal of showers for us to have to deal with each day. Not much changes on Thursday, as we see the weakness is still there. It's still not showing up as a closed low, but definitely a little bit of troughiness, and that keeps us in the showery pattern. In the meantime, there's a big surface low, of course, up over the southern part of Canada. The upper air pattern becomes a little more troughy on Friday over the eastern part of the country, so that upper weakness that we've been following along the Gulf Coast is beginning to show up a little stronger there as we see that really strong trough begin to move over into the western Great Lakes a little bit closer. And then by Saturday, that thing is now over the central Great Lakes, and that gives us a trough all the way down into southern Louisiana in the vicinity of New Orleans. But what that does for us is primarily keep us into a showery regime, so we're not going to see much in the way of any changes for the week ahead after we have this dry weekend. Looking out into Voodoo Country, and the GFS pretty bullish on the return of the upper ridge around the 19th. Also very bullish on a little Gulf mischief down there in the central Gulf of Mexico, which comes up into the vicinity of New Orleans. But you know what we say about Voodoo Country, here today, gone tomorrow. The GFS replaces the upper ridge with a trough around the 22nd of June. This is nice because this would certainly mean no heat over the eastern half of the country, and it keeps that troughiness over the eastern third of the country, at least through Sunday the 25th. But we do note that there's a pretty substantial ridge over the central part of the country, and so that would be some pretty warm temperatures for them and relatively cool, at least below seasonal averages for us. That'll do it for the Weather Extreme video for this morning. I expect to have the next one posted first thing on Sunday morning. In the meantime, stay tuned to the blog for notes on Alabama's weather. I'll be up at Center in Cherokee County later this morning and early afternoon with a safety fair. So if you're in that area, come by and stop by. Otherwise, you can catch the latest forecast. I'll be filling in for Megan this weekend on the news at 3340 at 6 and 10 today. I'm meteorologist Brian Peters. Have a great day and Godspeed.